you've already mentioned a lot of these, drawing from your career fire experience, your traveling, teaching, counseling, everything that you've been able to experience in your life. Are there consistent qualities across the nation in those that finish out with healthy and successful careers, like certain qualities or practices that other people can learn from and apply?
When there is, and it's a positive perspective. The glass is half full. It's not half empty. Not only is it half full, how do I fill it? That kind of a perspective is important. It typically comes with example. I was stuck on a rescue, which is what you guys call squads, and I was on a rescue for almost 15 years. So, and I still had air, right? And man, I'll tell you what, it wasn't until the Palm Beach County Fools stepped into my life, they saved my career, because I was going to quit. I would rather flip hamburgers at McDonald's than put up with the shit that I was at, that toxic firehouse, where the engine and the truck and the rescue didn't talk, didn't eat together, didn't do anything together. And if we called them out on a call for an assist, it was like tits on a bull. They were worthless, Talk about this was some of the worst days of my life. But when that guy showed up, his name is John Flynn, when he showed up as the float-in captain that day, and he started talking at the station meeting, and he just set everybody straight. He goes, listen, dinner's $7 and it's served at 5:30. I don't care if you're eating or not. Everybody ante up. That is an order. And then he was on the tarmac in the back playing the bagpipes. I was like, oh, this is it.
Yeah.
This is what I signed up for,
Yeah.
To be a part of something. And that day was one of the slowest days we'd ever had on rescue. And we talked for a long time, and he had me come out and do to one of the Fools meetings, and I went. They met in a bar, and I was a little suspect about it, and a couple of guys drank, but they didn't drink like I drank. They had like one drink the entire time they were there. And I kept staring at them going, these guys, do they even know they're doing that wrong? They should have slammed like 15 or 20 of them by now,
Yeah.
That's the way I drank, And they talked about training, and we put on training. They encouraged it. And there was a guy, Bruce Clark, and Curtis Rice, and, Buddy Yarborough, John Flynn, F, Little B, John Ferguson. There was a bunch of guys, man. And, man, those guys, I learned a lot from those guys. And they were like, man, you got to come to the Orlando Fire Conference. I was like, I'm in, whatever. I met the guys that created the Fools organization, the founding fathers, and I got to meet more instructors. That's where I started to learn about ventilation, and I learned that from Bobby Pressler, who used to work Rescue 3 at FDNY. Mm-hmm. And he taught me the trick with the other blunt, the flat side of the axe, and some other stuff. He's the one that reinforced having to be ambidextrous. You have to be able to chop from both sides, because you never know when you're going to be up against a wall and you're not going to be able to be on your dominant side. So you have to be proficient at both. And everything changed. And that's when I took the promotional test and I became a driver. And that was it, man. Everything changed. They saved my career. The fire service saved my life. The Fools saved my career. And most of those guys had that outlook.
Yeah.
Very positive outlook, and they just sought each other out. And that's what we hung out, was our nucleus, Those people have good relationships with their families. They make a lot of friends, We know people all over the country. We're very good friends with a lot of people. I had to get off social media, bro. It was ridiculous. Mm-hmm. I go to a freaking fire conference, and it's like everybody knows who I am. I'm like, who are these people? I'm shaking people's hands. Hey, nice to meet you. I remember you. Your hair was darker. But it caused problems for me. And it was causing problems in my relationships, because even though they're women firefighters and they're friends requesting me, I'm talking to my wife. I go, hey, so-and-so, friends request me, it's this girl, you okay with that? And I saw her uncomfortability.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to come around, but I'm not honoring my wife, And it's got nothing to do with whether there was bad intention. Those
Exactly.
women, they just want to know about firefighting. That's it. There's no ulterior. Look at this face, bro. There's no attraction for that kind of thing. It ain't my. I joke a lot. It ain't like my ruggedly handsome good looks. No. But the social media thing just wasn't. It was becoming a problem. I got off it 2 years ago. So, I actually recently just did it for a podcast. We're going to be doing what you're doing, webcasts. And we're going to interview people, and it's going to be on substance abuse and mental health and performance training. And so there's people all over the country that we know, and I want to capitalize on that.
That's so huge to hear that coming from you, because I could draw a direct parallel with that, where I got off of social media.
Yeah.
And it was for the same reason, where there were friends that I didn't know that were occupying my energy and my time. And then there were also women that were coming in, and some of them had very innocent intentions, and then other ones.
Some of their profile pictures, bro. You can't defend that.
But,
I'm like, honey,
so
I don't know this person, but
So for me, it was
you
even.
do what you want to do.
Yeah, for me, it was like, even scrolling and you see the feed of the person that has that nice profile picture, that little dose of dopamine right there is not honoring your partner, your spouse.
That's right.
And that was a huge revelation for me, where it was like, even if I'm not doing anything, I'm still not honoring that person. And that's such a huge thing to hear from someone like you, because
Guys are going to hear that and they're going to go, oh, that's bullshit. Okay,
It's not.
maybe it is for you. It's not for us.
Right.
And that was a struggle for me, because you know how freaking great it is to think that the opposite sex finds you attractive and they
yeah.
care.
Everyone
you
wants
know,
that.
their friends requesting you.
Yeah.
That feels good. That is the dopamine that's not the anandamide. That's no pun intended, but that is the that is the feel good hormones that the body's releasing. But why is that more important than the way that my wife feels?
Yep.
I don't care what her perspective is on it. The bottom line, the only reason she's bringing this up is because it's making her feel insecure, and I'm not taking her feelings into consideration.
Right.
Why the hell am I married to her if I'm not going to do that?
Yep.
How am I honoring her? How am I holding her as the woman that's valuable to me, my queen?
Yeah.
And so, that took a little while to figure that out, because I wanted to believe that wasn't the way it was. She was just being, silly, and it's not. It's not, bro.
No.
That it takes time and energy. You said it, away from the things that I should be valuing, and the corruption is out there everywhere. I have a tendency of dropping F-bombs and cursing, and I am a man of God. And I did a conference in Estero, Florida once, and a chaplain caught me afterwards. He says, "Mr. George, you claim to be a man of God." I looked at him, I said, "Yes, sir." And he says, "You sure curse a lot for a man of God." I looked at him and smiled, and I said, "And yet he continues to use me. It's baffling, isn't it?" And he laughed, and he pointed at me, and he just walked away. So I have my defects, and I know who my audience is. But, that whole thing, that's just not a road that I'm willing to go down anymore. And once I got off social media, I was like, that was probably one of the best decisions I had made in a long time, probably since marrying my wife, but it was the right decision to make. It was a good decision to make. And, to each his own, man. I'm not telling you that social media is evil, but I can definitely tell you that if you're trying to live a life as a righteous man, we talked about character earlier, and trying to live a moral and righteous life, that the more righteous you get, the harder you're hunted. Trust me, the harder you're hunted. The more righteous you live your life, it's coming, bro. It's coming. Temptation is going to come at you times 10. And if you're not prepared, if you haven't prepared yourself for that storm, when that storm comes, it's going to reveal your foundation. It's going to.
And you saying you're a man of God, the biggest archetype of that is Jesus Christ.
That's right.
Right? So
That's right.
one of the strongest foundations out there, but also one of the one that's exposed to the most trials and people coming after him and temptations and all of that. So
Who never
that's-
did anything to deserve it.
Yep. But still going to be there.
Well,
It's-
I mean,
that's
and
why it's
look
such
at,
a
look
great
at the beating
story.
that he
Yeah,
took.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I think about that a lot when I think that I've been slighted or, you know, I told you that PTSD doesn't go away. So, you know, sometimes something will happen and I will plot somebody's murder 1,000 different ways, you know, in my head.
Yeah.
And I have to get back to prayer and reading. And when I do, it resets my mind. And I may lose some people on this, but my belief is that you know, Jesus comes to earth. He's sinless. He gets crucified. He gets flogged to within an inch of his life. They almost died before they could finish crucifying him, you know, humiliated. And then everybody that he did all of these fantastic things for left him. And he knew it was coming and did it anyways. In the garden, he said, Father, is there no way this cup can be passed from me? Because he knew what was coming and he didn't want to do it. So when you think that your life is tough, just know that Jesus also had second thoughts. But he went through with it, you know. And that inspires me to be able to strive to be better, you know. You know, my faith later in life has really turned into a salvation for me that ordinarily wasn't there. I don't try to convert people. All I can do is talk about my story. That's it. You know, I get it. You may or may not get it. You may or may not like it, but just know I'm a recovering Catholic. I was almost beat to death in elementary school by the teachers and the nuns.
Yeah.
I had my son was assaulted by a teacher by kicking a chair at him. And when I went to the school and complained, they did nothing. We left that school, went to another one. My daughter was sexually assaulted there. This is religion, okay? Religion is man-made, which is different than what I am. I'm a Christian. I read the Bible, and that's what runs my life, okay? I don't have to go to, you know, any religious traditions and whatnot. But religion in themselves is not bad. It's man. Man's inherently, we're a devious animal, bro. We're fallen, you know? And it was the purpose for Jesus coming, because Adam failed. He came to finish what Adam was supposed to, you know, that damn Eve, you know, took us sideways. And so my point is that in this career, it's like firemen. You got great firemen, you got good firemen, you got firemen that are just, you know, they're
They're good
POSs,
guys.
you
Yeah.
know, and it's in everywhere, teaching, politics, maybe more than, you know, attorneys, medical, they all have their dirt bags. All of us do. But, you know, to strive to be better, man, that's a personal choice. And what you choose to do with that, that's up to you. But I'm going to tell you this. You can't give output all the time in your life and not expect breakdowns to occur. You better have some input. That means where you replace things. And you better find a way to do that. And it ain't gonna come in the form of alcohol, drugs, women, violence, any of that crap. It ain't the car or truck you drive, it ain't the clothes you wear, it ain't your badass haircut or your tattoos or whatever. It ain't about that, you know. You need to find how you're gonna feed your soul, because this career track will suck the life out of you. It will. It's a wonderful career. I love it. Best job in the world. But you have to find a way to be able to feed your soul. You do. Just my experience.
I think this hour and a half or 2 hours that we've been talking has chipped.
Yeah, with dinner gonna be ready
Yeah.
soon, yeah?
I think that's chipped away to the genesis of what got you on this path is refinding that soul and figuring out how to feed that soul.
Yeah.
How to get that shine, right, that you talk about. That's
Yeah.
that soul that's in there. And I appreciate that, because I don't think those conversations are had that often. And I think that's the first step towards building character, towards being a leader, towards having a good career at the end is if you could somehow find that soul that was once so vibrant when you were a kid and bring that out again,
Yeah.
then everything is
I-
boundless at the end, right?
I know what happened. I needed to be broken before I could be rebuilt.
Yep.
And I needed to find a way to be rebuilt or I was going to stay broken. And that brokenness, while it was the worst, it was also the best thing that could happen because it brought me to my relationship with my God. I was a jackpot guy. I got in a jackpot, I prayed, God, you get me out of this, I'll never do that again. I swear.
Yep.
Only to do it again, you know. And in a previous life, I was not a nice man. I did a lot of things that I regret. I was a violent man. I was a dangerous man. We smuggled drugs into the country. People I associated with were not nice people. We did a lot of harm. And I thought I had atoned for those sins. And maybe I did, I don't know. But I know one thing, my story is not over, you know, and I got a chance. And that brokenness was the beginning of being able to kind of direct the way my story is going to end. I may not be able to change the past, but I can, you know, have a say-so on how it's going to end.
Yeah.
You know, and this has been some of the best times of my life. It really has been. Grandkids, got 9 of them. Got 6 kids. When I leave here, I go to San Antonio, hook up with a bunch of brothers there, do this all over again with my buddy Lee, and then I go home and I get surgery on my right wrist. I have carpal tunnel, knee surgery, colon cancer, wrist surgery, shoulder surgery. It just, these gifts, these retirement gifts, they don't warn you about, you know?
Yeah.
And so we're taking off after that. We'll be gone for a month. We'll be back in the middle. We'll leave first week in November. We'll be back in the middle of December. We're going to go to our cabin up in the woods, my wife and I. And that's where her and I, we get to bond. We get to come together. We get to get close.
Yeah.
You know? And it's a really good time. We hate leaving there. You know, and it's what feeds our marriage. You know? It's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I think we could leave it on that. That's a good
Cool.
note.
It's good to see you again,
Thank
brother.
you. That was
It really
amazing.
is.